Greetings, everyone. It is I, F.W. Waller, and I have returned once again to provide another epic video review for Season 2 of the now hit CW TV show Arrow. And I am joined by the same crew who reviewed the last season with me.
Oh, we say something.
Yeah, just say something.
Okay, I'm hungry. It's fucking morning where I'm at.
Yes.
Is that the kind of introduction that you're going to have for us?
Yes.
Are the same assholes that were here last time.
Well, okay. For those of you who didn't see the last video, the...
Well, hold on.
The cool thing that he has.
Alright.
They have time in the Wi-Fi.
Sure.
Okay, the guy with all the angry Spanish speaking in the background is Senor
She's
Nerd.
not angry. She's just Puerto Rican. That's how we speak. So shut up.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. And the other one, the female voice, is Pop Culture Diva 42.
Hello, boys.
Yes.
And girls. that was slightly sexist.
Well, you gotta count the hermaphrodites, too.
And all you trans people.
Yeah. You gotta include all the demographics. Anyways, before this gets too awkward, let's actually talk about the show. So, Arrow Season 2. I guess I'm gonna start out, like I did before, everybody's general thoughts on the overview of this season.
I thought it was great. I thought it carried over the second half of season 1 and still kept the momentum up. I love adding new characters in. I love how it set up its own universe. I also love the introduction of Barry Allen was fantastic. The Suicide Squad was a really good idea. And I just love the character of Oliver from how he changed from season 1 to season 2. I thought it was fantastic. And freaking Slade, best villain on TV right now. And I think it was a really great season overall. It wasn't like the season 1 where it's like, oh, give it a chance, it'll be good, it might be good. It just like, it kept the momentum going up to like the final episode. So, I thought it was fantastic. It became my new favorite show on TV ever, right now.
Okay, Deanna?
I think Stephen Amell said once, and it was very fitting, that and before the show was released, when he and the cast and the writers went to Comic-Con, everybody was like, hey, good to have you here, hope your show doesn't suck. And then the next year when they went, everybody was really, really excited, and they were like, yes, Arrow didn't suck. And I think that's very telling to how the show evolved, because it did have kind of an awkward start in season 1, at least the first half of season 1. It seemed to me like they were trying to be way too much of a Batman show without actually being about Batman. But then towards the second half of the first season, you could see that they knew better what kind of story they wanted to tell. And that went further in the second season. I think if the first season is like the awkward phase, then the second season is like when Arrow goes to college and finally figures out what kind of show it wants to be and what kind of universe, because that's very important. With, like Ed said, the introduction of Barry Allen, what kind of universe they're trying to make. They're trying to transform DC and translate it into the TV environment, and I'm so excited. That's the best thing that the second season of Arrow did for me, is even though there were problems with it, there were episodes, for instance, for me, the Suicide Squad episode was a bit of a disappointment, but I'll get into that later. what this season managed to do, it made me as excited as I am for the Marvel movie universe. That's how excited I am for the DC TV universe, because these are people that know what they're trying to do. It's not like Smallville, where Smallville, I'm a Smallville fan, I'll say that, but it did last for 5 seasons too long. But I'm excited about what Arrow's trying to do, because I think it's more structured. I think it's more mature than a Smallville. I think CW finally has a grasp on something that's going to bring in the male side of the audience. Because if you watch CW's crap, you know that they have Vampire Diaries, they have even the Tomorrow People that caters to a female audience predominantly. But Arrow and Flash, let's hope it's going to be a lot more inclusive of both genders and a lot better stuff for the both genders. And like I said, for me, the best thing about the second season of Arrow is that it really made me excited for what DC is trying to do in the TV medium.
All right. I bet everybody listening in now is dying to hear my opinion, and I must say, this season, from a cinematic standpoint, and for the most part from a storytelling standpoint, was pretty fucking good. I will not deny that. The first thing I want to talk about concerning this season is just how much the directing style and the cinematography and the editing and the camera work, the way everything looks, the way everything is shot and framed and styled, it's way more advanced. Like, there are a lot more 360 shots, there are a lot more stylish transitions going on. It's so dramatic and it's so cinematic in the way that it's evolved. Because the first season felt kind of like a schlocky indie movie compared to the second season. The second season, it felt like they got...
First season?
Go ahead.
The whole season? No, I'm asking you, the whole first season, or was it an improvement?
Most of the first season felt like some kind of, a decent, like, college indie movie that had promise. But this season, it felt like they brought in, like, some big, heavy-hitting, like, Hollywood talent, like maybe Ridley Scott or James Cameron or Francis Ford Coppola to come in and direct a few episodes, because the way that a lot of the scenes are transitioned and shot, the way that the actors carry themselves, the characters, they have a tight leash on how the characters are all written. They're all written superbly. The acting is strong. There's very little dialogue that I just couldn't help but moan at. There were some problems, but there were some problems with the overall sort of idea of the plot. I thought the whole thing with the Mirakuru, I thought the whole plot device that, an evil, a super soldier serum that the evil bad guy wants to make an army of super soldiers, I kind of feel like that plot trope has been done to death, but I won't deny that the way that they did it was damn impressive, and the best way they could have adapted, a story device like that. So, hell yeah, this season was awesome, purely, from a cinematic standpoint. It had a few storytelling hiccups here and there, but, overall it was a pretty solid, complete package. Okay, now, first of all, I guess we should delve a bit into the characters. I think first we should focus a little bit on the returning characters, not too much on them, but focus a little bit on what happens with them and their metamorphoses and whatnot, the way they've changed. So, we're going to try to have a bit of a discussion on this. There won't be any turn-taking or anything like that. Okay. Who do you all believe, what was your favorite recurring character who had the best arc, in your opinion?
Aside from the lead character, Oliver Queen, right?
Aside from Ollie, but, he's fair game, too.
Think? Okay, Mia. Oh, sister.
Oh, Thea, yeah.
Yeah. So that think about me, Darren, the second.
Yeah. I get the confusion there. Mia Dearden, like the fourth Speedy. Yeah, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. Oh, she was. I was like, I hated her from season one. She was the typical CW spoiled rich kid. I'm on drugs. I like to do crazy wild girl. But she really her transformed into
She turned
a
into an
woman.
adult. She turned into a
Yeah.
responsible adult.
Thank goodness.
That's what having a job does to you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm glad to do the thing where she's like, oh, she's working in the club and she's around alcohol. Oh, she might go back to going back. But no, thankfully it wasn't that. Maybe they hinted here or there if I remember, but it wasn't like, oh, she's back on this thing. I really enjoy Mia, and
And one thing I want to say is that uh, they kind of harken back to her bitchiness from season one because at the beginning they're like, I want to hurt my mom, I want to hate her, wah, 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 wah. But then she finally
although it's like it's kind of you understand why she hit her mom. It wasn't like, oh, you're just being spoiled brat. It's like, no, her mom was part of why the Glades went to shit. You
yeah
kind of understand her anger.
Yeah, I can understand it, but at the same time, she should be aware of the fact that her mom regrets her actions, and it is her mom. It is, she is a part of her family, and I'm glad that she eventually realizes that. She says to Moira, that's another character I want to get to at some point. Hello, Ed?
Yeah.
Okay. Ah, fuck. Damn, we lost Deanna. Shit.
Oh.
Oh, okay, there she is.
Sorry.
No, that's
what
fine.
did you say?
I was gonna say that I like the fact that Thea actually grows up and finally says, you're my mother. I can't possibly bring myself to hate you. But there was one point where I was a bit annoyed with her character towards the very end of the season where she starts holding grudges against everyone for holding secrets, which I could sort of understand that. I can understand where she's coming from, but even at the very end, oh, by the way, spoiler alert, major spoilers. I think I'll put that in the description. At the end, whenever Slade kills Moira, like even at her funeral, she was like, she died because she was keeping secrets from us. And I just couldn't help but think, are you serious?
Grief makes you act in weird ways.
Yeah, but I mean...
But she wasn't overly still mad at her mom. It's just like, well, she still kept secrets from me. Anyways, it didn't really bother me. But I guess, I don't know. I mean, first, she's young. She's not adult yet. So we gotta see her still. She's on transition to...
Well, I mean...
be more mature.
I'm not...
She can't be mature right now. She's still a kid.
Yeah, I won't hold that against her, but... I mean, she's by far the purest out of all the characters, no doubt. And
I think Felicity has a better moral high ground than Mia.
Well, that's true. But another character I want to talk about is Moira. I love every second of Moira that's on screen in this season. I think she's fantastic.
Yeah.
The actress who I don't know who the actress is who plays her, but man, she gets so much more to do. She gets so much more development. Her character gets fleshed out so much more. She has so much to deal with. It's insane how much development that she goes throughout this season, and she carries that so well.
I think one of the most surprising things about Arrow, I mean, for me anyway, was when I first heard about the show and during the first season, I was like, Oliver Queen doesn't need a freaking family. Oliver Queen is kind of like the loner. That's why, at least in the beginning, I preferred the Smallville version because it seemed to me like that Oliver Queen, Smallville's Oliver Queen was more faithful to the comics in the sense that he didn't have a whole lot of family baggage to carry after him. I mean, of course, his parents died, but they weren't an active. They weren't an active presence. There wasn't any family active presence in his life. But with characters like Mia and like Moira, I really don't mind that this Oliver Queen has a family because they are interesting characters. He has an interesting dynamic with these characters. They add something to the show. They're not just there because we need something. Although, you know, with his mom, you could say that he only did it to amp the angst factor in his life. But his mom was a dark character. She did have dark undertones, and it does feel like kind of a karmic balance. She kind of got away scot-free with her participation.
Yeah, there was a lot of like I think one thing anybody can attest is that there was a lot of angsty tension between her and Oliver, like in the later parts of this season.
Yeah.
It was that was some really it was some powerful
I really
stuff.
like the fact that when she in the episode where she bought it, I think they had that flashback where it was her with the girl that Oliver left pregnant.
Yeah.
That was the flashback in the episode she dies. And I think it's very, very cool how in an episode that could possibly turn her into a martyr, they actually showed that, you know, she is still Moira Queen. She is still a character with a dark subtext to her.
Yeah, she's flawed as hell.
Still things in her life.
She's flawed as hell.
Mm-hmm.
That was a very mature way of writing it. And also, on a side note, you know, could that girl that was pregnant with Oliver's kid, could that be a subtle like nod to Connor Hawke? You know, the second Green Arrow.
So. That's how everybody is interpreting it. I would have preferred that she was not white because Connor Hawke is mixed. But
she looks ethnic to me, woman.
Yes,
she looks a bit exotic. Yeah.
But I got this clear up because I'm confused. I thought maybe she's not pregnant or that the kids are Oliver's. That's not Oliver's kid, but I guess that means that that's. Well, we'll see.
I think if we reach like season 4 or 3, season 4 or 5, they will introduce a little Connor Hawke, which to me is incredible that Connor Hawke will actually have a live action version before Kyle Rayner, but that's my traumatic.
Yep. Yeah. Well, you know, one little step at a time. Other returning characters. Oliver. Quick comments about Oliver.
You know what? I just thought this. I think season 1 and 2 are just like one big story arc for Oliver. I think the transition of him. First, I like how his transition of being the killer vigilante to not kill was very impressive. And sometimes he's a bit headstrong, sometimes a bit stubborn, but I love how, you know, the whole thing of him learning and you know, adapting to what's going on in the city. And I really like how they just bring him down to lower, just bring him down. And I really like this kind of like at the end of season 2, where it's like he's more optimistic. It's like, well, everything is like more optimistic. You know, it's not like season 1 where it's like, and it's like a very down. This one, I felt like the way how he's smiling a bit, like I'm done with Slade, and I'm gonna save the city, and people still think of me as a hero now. I thought that was really great. I just think that Stephen Amell is awesome. I think he's the coolest dude ever, and he's fit the role perfectly. To me, I think he should get more recognition in Hollywood. I hope to see him in movies. Not too much. I don't know, that might take his way era, but I think he's a really great actor, and I think his Oliver Queen is really great. Just the whole thing, him just really. It's more. It's just like he's a new character now.
Do me a big favor and go to church with me.
unwilling to just, well, I'm pretty enough to make this work, so fuck it. I don't have to act or anything. But Stephen Amell, you really feel like from his tweets and from his general attitude, he wants this to work, and he's willing to commit heart, mind, and soul to it. And I read a super amusing tweet from him when the second season was broadcasting. Like, I think
I'm sorry. If any of you witnessed an audio dip there, that was because I was turning the volume down because my mom walked in. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hi, Ian's mom.
Yeah. She's gone now.
I think somebody asked him something about Marvel, and he was like, "No, I don't want to talk about Marvel. What's next? I'm going to go cosplay as Hawkeye at Comic-Con." So he's super aware of the competition between DC and Marvel. And I think this season, I still don't think he's such a good actor, but you could definitely tell that he tried to improve his acting. There were scenes where he actually showed some other emotion other than, placid pleasantness.
Yeah, I gotta say that his evolution from being a killer to being a vigilante who was completely reluctant to kill people, I really liked the whole idea behind that. And I really like how the whole subplot thing with the Mirakuru, despite, my earlier objections about how it's kind of unoriginal, the way that it makes him tense and timid and very unstable and very emotionally drained, I really like that. Those presented a lot of challenges for his character. And crap, I'm forgetting something else. Well, that's all I got for now.
Well, I will say this. There are people that who ship Felicity, and they have a problem with the fact that Oliver seems to be getting it on with everybody except Felicity. Me personally, I think Felicity, 90% of it is fan service. Not until the end of the second season did I really I'm not shipping it, but I'm willing to accept it as a viable option for a romantic. I'm willing to accept as a viable romantic interest. But Oliver Queen is a man slut. Like, let's face it, after Shadow.
Yeah, he's a gigolo.
Sarah,
He's a freaking gigolo. That's what he is.
Yeah. Like, he's not hopping from bed to bed, but let's be honest, he's a man. Like, he uses sex as a way to detract from his own emotional issues. And that's why I think, Felicity does not deserve that crap in his life. Like, it's a matter of Oliver reaching a level where he is worthy of Felicity, not the other way around. So that's why I currently do not ship them. But I'm willing to admit that at some point in the future they could have a romantic relationship and it could work. But right now, Oliver is a manslut, and he uses sex as a placebo to hide his own emotional scars. And I think Felicity should stay away from that kind of crap.
Yeah, you see, those whole fan boats, those whole fan bandwagons, I guess you could say, about, this character should be together with this one character. Yeah, I really don't care about all that shit. I just want to pay attention to the story, and I want to have some investment in the characters. I just want to enjoy it. I don't want to obsess over what these characters would do on a date or some shit like that, I'd like to believe I exist in a real world, not to sound like a snob or anything.
Yeah, but CW, 90% of its shows are about that.
Well, Arrow is...
And so they have a tradition in that, and even the actors, if you ask them, Arrow is the kind of show where the actors are open about having that kind of discussion. For instance, Supernatural actors hate when they're being asked about any kind of shipping questions. But Stephen Amell and Emily Beth Ricard, I think those actresses, they'll say they like Felicity, they like Lolliver or whatever the the ship name is.
Yeah, well, it's whatever. I think I agree. You probably put it the whole thing about Oliver being so casual about sex that it's possible that he could be very loose with other women if he was that close with Felicity. You put it in a much more academic and more advanced way than that I would put it.
Look, man, thing is a big part of television shows. Like, even if you yourself don't do it, it is. It's a big part of fandoms.
Oh, all right. Moving on to speaking of Felicity, just talk about her and Diggle. Okay, one side note about Diggle though is that I kind of felt for a lot of the season Diggle was just there to help Oliver out and get his ass kicked in the occasional sparring sessions. I was like, damn.
He was like, I think 2 episodes. The Suicide Squad episode, and was it the one where
the episode where he goes to Russia?
Yeah, that's it. 2 episodes, and those about death shots. So really, the episodes involving death shots and his ex-wife.
Well, I think to be fair though, like I think the Suicide Squad episodes, like there was like more than a couple of those devoted to the Suicide Squad. I think the Suicide Squad was there to be like a plot device to advance Diggle's character development.
Well, I was like, Diggle's not doing much this season, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I was really disappointed because he was great in season 1. And I think, and I gotta go with Vic and Chris and Vic. They all says that it felt forced. I don't know about forced. I think the writers like, okay, we've done shit for Diggle in season 2. What should we do? Let's give him a kick. Okay, that'll be great for season 3.
Well, I think it was nice to see like a flashback to Afghanistan, seeing Diggle, in the military where he first met Lila.
Yeah, I like that. That was good.
Yeah, it was.
And I like the whole reveal that Deathshot, he didn't kill his brother of an accident. He was hired to kill his brother. And now leading to, okay, who's the man who hired Deathshot to kill Diggle's brother?
Yeah,
that's like one of the storylines they're in thread for season 3.
Yeah, the Hive storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of damn it, I don't want to go too far. Still talking about characters. Felicity, thoughts on her progression?
She doesn't annoy me. Thank goodness. I didn't like her the first time, but then she started to grow on me. I think I liked how she was very secure that everybody, when it became Team Arrow, when Roy joined in, and then Sarah joined in, and they all, and with Diggle and with Oliver, they all know how to kick ass. And Felicity's the chick with the computer. I like that she's very secure, but then she's like, oh, my strength is computer, and I like it. I feel like Felicity a lot in this season. I hope it's just a thing I remember. It's like most things involving her is like do with the relationship. Either her strong feelings with Oliver, or now her new, almost a new relationship she's going to have with Barry Allen.
Yeah, I thought the whole thing with Barry Allen was. I thought that their interactions were really entertaining. I thought they had good chemistry going on. Ah, shit! This happened again.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, we were talking about Felicity and Barry Allen. Thoughts?
You thought their interactions were very.
Yeah, I thought they were very entertaining to watch. I thought that they had really nice chemistry going on. A lot of great chemistry between all the characters going on in the show, I've noticed. And the guy who plays Barry Allen...
Hey, back.
The guy who plays Barry Allen, shit. Grant Gustin, that was his name, yeah.
Are we talking about Barry Allen?
Yeah, we're talking about Barry Allen.
Okay, I freaking love the 2 episodes. I freaking love Greg Gustin. to me, he doesn't look like Barry Allen, but the way he acts, he talks, the things he does, I thought that's Barry Allen, straight out of the comics. It's fantastic. I was to say when they say that they're gonna bring Barry Allen to the show, is he become the Flash? I was like, no. I was totally not. I was like, I want to be excited, but I was like, they kind of ruined the show a bit. I thought it was gonna ruin the show because since season 1, they established this is like the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight realistic superhero show.
Yeah, that sort of resonates with the whole look of the show too. With it was all muted and stuff.
Yeah, and I thought bring a superhero and then like a real superhero with superpowers. I thought that was gonna ruin the tone of the show. But you think about it, I was like, you know what? He fixed the show well with this type of show. It's a comic book show, and
yeah.
It tried to be like Christopher Nolan's Batman. It's more like they wanted to have that style a bit, but then they realized, they want to have their own.
Yeah, I definitely saw a lot more Nolan elements going on there, especially with the copycats in the pilot. I guess not the pilot, the premiere episode of season 2.
Oh yeah.
But they did something different with the copycats though, which I definitely like. They use tropes from the Nolan movies, but they go in different directions with them.
And it's like they're people who are affected by the earthquake for season 1.
Yeah.
Not just people who are like Arrow. They just they want to take the law to their own hand like Arrow did. And then his message kind of like mixed. The whole message there was like they kill. And he's like, no, I don't want to kill anymore. Killing's wrong. But anyway, back to Barry Allen. I thought that the whole thing was great. I think everything was fit very well with Barry.
His origin was really epic.
That was a great scene.
Yeah, it was.
And music.
Yeah,
What?
the music was magical. It had a Danny Elfman quality to it.
Yeah, it's like that from the '90s show. If anyone watched the show.
Yeah,
I have.
It had Luke Skywalker.
Indeed, it did.
Yeah, and yeah, it was like I thought it was great. I gotta say though, when they were trying to ship Barry and Felicity together, I was like, no. He's with. I was like, no, Barry is
The Black Iris.
Yeah, she's Iris is the one for Barry. Bitch, leave her alone. Leave him alone.
All right.
I was like, no. Iris is the one. Leave him alone. Yeah. But anyways, I thought it was great. I love how he's so excited about the Arrow character. I was like, oh my god, he's a superhero.
Yeah, he's a fanboy.
He's like us. Like we're excited for superheroes, and the fact that he made him his mask, I thought that was a perfect choice. Mm-hmm. And that kind of like bring into like when the show was coming out where he made his own superhero or like he get his own costume and you want to look like a superhero.
Although I must admit the part in like the second episode where Barry Allen, like whenever they manage to revive Oliver because he's got all those needles with the drugs in him, he wakes up and he acts like such a dick.
Well,
Yeah, Oliver. He acts like such a dick because he's.
He got like injected by the Mirakuru.
No. It wasn't the Mirakuru. It was when he first found out that Barry was told this, their secret, and right after they managed to inject like this rat killer stuff into him that thinned out his blood, and he wakes up and he sees that Barry's inside of his lair, and then he says to Felicity, "You told him? That's not your secret to share." And blah, blah, blah. He goes on this whole tirade. He bitches at Felicity, and he acts like such a dick.
I
think that was perfectly in character.
And also, he kind of seeing there's like a thing going on between Felicity and Barry. And he's a bit jealous, like some inner feelings he had for Felicity.
Why would he be jealous? He's Oliver Queen. He can get.
I know, but he's like, I guess his reputation kind of intimidates Felicity, So he wants to be like the normal guy, which is Barry, who doesn't have a reputation like Oliver Queen does. I don't know. I think this. It didn't bother me. I mean, he's angry that they revealed secret without his notification, without his knowing. Although he was pretty much almost dead. But
Okay.
but yeah,
I don't want to spend the whole time talking about Barry, so let's.
I do.
I'm sorry, Ed, but we got to move on to some of the other characters.
Okay, how about Sarah? Black Canary.
Well, yeah, Sarah. One thing I want to say about Sarah, like right off the bat, and it's one thing I wanted to comment on too, is like when you see Sarah in like the flashbacks, when you see, she's like, she's the typical spoiled teenage girl who takes everything for granted, and she's very slutty, and she goes with the rich, pretty boys. You see how naive she is, like in those flashbacks, but then when you switch to the present day where she's hardened and she's trained to kill people, and you just look at her face, it's like she's always got the 1,000-yard stare going on. You know what I mean? It's like she has that look on her face that says that she's seen a lot of stuff and she's done a lot of stuff. I think the actress must have done something to pull that off convincingly. I think she did such an amazing job playing Sarah. I wish she could replace Laurel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think most of the 99% of the people watching Arrow were thinking, why couldn't we get this girl?
Yeah,
She be Laurel.
Yeah, she was awesome. She was Black Canary.
Although I don't think that's very fair of Katie Cassidy, because it really isn't like, yeah, she's not the best actress, but she's really not getting the material that would inspire or at least make the basis for at least a good performance. Like when Laurel is really getting made screwed over by the script writers.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. The scriptwriters, they're writing Laurel to be the most unlikable, heinous cunt you could ever imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, she is doing...
It's such a smart thing, because otherwise they're so good, and I'm like, why can't you write a good female character outside of Felicity or outside of somebody who's actually related to Oliver? Like, why can't you make Laurel good? How difficult can it possibly be? Although I will say that towards the end of the season, I started to root for her. I think after she found out that Oliver and Harper helped out her character a lot.
Yeah, she actually starts getting a clue sort of towards the end of the season there, but everything before that was just painful. Everything about before that was so sloppily written, because she was talking about, like, at first she wanted to arrest Green Arrow, but then all of a sudden, after the whole doll maker encounter, she's like, "Oh my god, everything that happened was my fault. It was my fault." And I was just thinking, why did it take her this long to realize this?
Mm-hmm.
And then they do the whole like drug alcohol abuse thing, which was also kind of sloppily written because there was no setup to it. Because like whenever she has that dinner date with Sebastian Blood and she's drinking a glass of wine, and then she gets pulled over and it's like, wait, what? You're doing this now? That was awkward.
And not that I want to sit there she hit rock bottom, and I hate characters that hit rock bottom and blame everybody else for their issues.
Yeah.
Because when her sister came back, it's her fault that her life is crap. Or previous did that.
Yeah.
Oliver's fault. Everybody's fault but her own. And that's just one of my...
Yeah, and Oliver calls her out on her shit, too.
Yeah.
I think that was one moment where we all just breathed, where we all just yelled a collective, yes!
Finally, somebody says it like it is. And not that Oliver is in the position to tell anybody how to live their lives, or to judge them on how they're living their lives, but it was like talking with the voice of the fans that are saying, "Get your shit together, girl."
Yeah,
Claudia?
and we're talking about Laurel.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, the whole, and I especially like the part when where they go from the alcohol abuse to the drug abuse, where they exposit that apparently she stole like those opiates from her dad, and I was like, wait, what? When the fuck did this happen? I mean, yeah, we saw her popping pills in earlier scenes, but we just assumed that they were hers. You know, how the fuck were we supposed to know that they were Quentin's?
Why couldn't he those pills for?
Yeah. Does he have any conditions or something? I guess he would need some kind of pills, but I mean,
His condition is called awesome-itis.
yeah, awesome-itis.
His daughter's a bitch.
I would need
Yeah. Oh my God.
I would need pills if I had to deal with a daughter like that.
Yeah. Let's just say something. Okay. My goodness. From the very beginning, I think because who said this? Evolution, Captain Logan, and Eric. They said that I guess they right now know what that's with Laurel this season, and I guess we're supposed to hate her, but then at the same time we hate her to the point where it's like, please die. And I think you can't do that to a character unless you want her to like a consequence at the end. But the fact that by the end, Sarah gave Laura her black leather jacket, indicating that she's going to be she's going to be Canary in season 2 or down the line. It kind of shows that maybe they have a long-term plan for Laura. And I was like, I don't want that. I want Sarah to be the Black Canary.
Yeah, no shit.
The drug thing was like typical CW. I mean, there's like so many in their show, so many storylines with like some characters on drugs and it's like lashing out to their friends.
You know,
Like,
I would dare say that if Laurel was the only female character on the show, I would call her her character was written very misogynistically, and God, I hate that word. I hate how it's overused, but it would definitely apply to Laurel if those were the circumstances.
It's like the writer hates women.
Find somebody who hates women.
Yeah. It's like Ben. Sarah's great. Felicity, freaking Thea was a better character than Laurel this season, and she's a teenager.
Hell, Moira was brilliant.
Moira was great, and I hope maybe it's the actress. I'm not a big fan of Kate Cassidy. So maybe it's the actress, or it's just the writers. There are like too many great characters. Let's have one sloppy one. I don't know.
Ironically, I felt her acting improved, but just her character was just written to be nothing but unlikable.
Yeah, okay. Well, we got that.
Usually, I hate to blame an actor for the way that they're being written because obviously they're not the ones who are writing their material. But like with Laurel, I have points where it's so horrible what is happening to her character. I'm like, I blame the actress for not quitting. I blame the actress for not putting her foot down and saying, I'm not saying this crap. This is insane.
Well, she's an actress. She needs to eat.
Yeah, but it's that bad. And it's not like, the thing is that what makes it so horrible is that otherwise this is a good show. And that's what I don't understand. How can they make Oliver likable? How can they make Felicity and Diggle work? How can they make all of these things work? But they can't make Laurel work.
I don't know. I think, what I think they should do is that they should get a different writer for Laurel. Probably the same writer who actually got to work on Roy, because it obviously wasn't the same writer as the first season.
It works like that. They get like 2 or 3 writers to work on an episode. I don't think they would get right.
Well, like, I wanted to transition into Roy Harper because, my God, what the hell happened? He's an actual character this time.
Yeah.
He's not spouting friggin' monologues about how tough it is being in the hood.
I'm in the streets, man. You don't know shit.
Yeah, man, you living all up in your mansion and shit? What? Okay, I'll stop.
Where's what's the name, man?
Followers, bitches.
Yeah.
Glades for life.
Glades for life.
Yeah. What I gotta say, when the whole Miracle thing, when he was ejected, he became a dick. I'm sorry. I really despise his to me, he's come up too hothead.
Yeah, he was, but he was, but even before that, he was awesome because he was given actual dialogue this time. He was given actual dialogue.
Yeah.
And it was good dialogue. Like his chemistry with Thea, it was good stuff. I gotta say, it was good stuff all around.
There were a couple of things that I liked about Roy this season, and a couple of things I didn't. What I liked is like what you said, Ian. His relationship to Thea showed us that just like somebody like Moira has a dark side, somebody like Roy has a soft side, and he really put things in perspective for Mia a couple of times, and I really like that. It added weight to his.
You mean
character.
Thea?
Thea, yeah. Thea. Who's Mia? Who the fuck is Mia? Ah, she's Speedy. Never mind.
Well, they do call her Speedy in the show.
Yeah. I also liked when he challenged Oliver's authority because he reached the breaking point, like when Oliver told him to dump Thea. That's when he got into trouble, and I understood why that would be the breaking point for him. On the other hand, what I didn't like is how much bitch and moaned during the time when Oliver was training him. Like, man, this is what you wanted. You wanted to be a follower. You wanted to be the apprentice of the Arrow. And now you're bitching and moaning because he's pulling Mr. Miyagi on you. Just shut the fuck up and hit the water or whatever he was supposed to do.
Yeah, and that leads to kind of just one small complaint about his whole arc was that I kind of wish that Ollie would have just shown him who he really was a lot earlier so that he could take his training, a bit more seriously.
I like that scene. I think it was a good build-up for a good dramatic scene because it showed why, and again, it ties into why he was so pissed off when Felicity revealed his secret identity without his consent. It's something that is very, very important to him, and he considers it to be the last resort in order to bring something to the group. I that was one of my favorite scenes of Roy in the second season when Oliver finally confided in him.
Yeah, when it finally I personally believe it should have happened a bit earlier, but at least it happened.
Well, the way that Roy has behaved throughout the season, he has been very dramatic, all culminating with his rampage around the city. I wouldn't trust him either. Like, it's okay if you want to be the hero and you want to follow me, but I wouldn't entrust him with that kind of secret either.
Okay.
Especially Mirakura was already playing with his head.
Yeah. Okay. I think we spent enough time talking about the old characters. We have a lot of new characters to talk about.
Wait a second, we haven't talked about the most awesome character there is. Quentin Lance.
Oh.
Yes.
Awesome.
I freaking love.
He goes through a lot. He goes through a lot of shit in this season.
Oh yeah.
He goes through a lot.
I think his best performance was the Dollmaker episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was so good.
But I also liked his speech about why he believes in Vigilante now.
I want to interrupt and briefly say that the Dollmaker slash Vertigo storylines, the whole setup for those were so stupid because in a flashback you see that it was in the Vertigo episode where there's a prison in the Glades when the earthquake is happening. What do the two guards do? They do the most stupid, retarded fucking thing they could have ever done. They choose to leave all the prisoners there to the earthquake.
Mm-hmm. Well, they think the earthquake will kill they're like, well, who cares? The earthquake will kill the prisoners.
They couldn't be sure of that. I mean, the least they could have they could have done is like get some guns and just like order them all out onto a bus or something. God, I'm sorry, that was so stupid.
Yeah, you give people to die. I mean, they still have fucking rights, even if they're prisoners.
Yeah, and you know, even regardless of that, you know, you never know when the earthquake might, you know, destroy a wall or something and allow them to escape.
Yeah. They're not the smartest guards ever. But I think, yeah. It's just like okay, we need a reason why some of these prisoners are out. Oh, the earthquake, and the guards just let them there to die.
Although I will say though that the way, man, when Oliver kills Vertigo, damn,
Mm-hmm.
damn.
Yeah. I gotta say, I'm gonna let you. We talk about season 1. I really like the character of Vertigo. I thought he's a really cool villain. What?
In the first time he showed up, I really didn't like him. I
really wasn't too crazy about him either. But man, the way that Oliver just shoots him right when he's about to kill Felicity, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, and he has to, because that's the thing where it's like he broke his no-kill law.
Yeah, but man, the build up to that, the way that it was done was just, it was brilliant.
You gotta think, well, he has to back because he knows Oliver.
It was powerful.
Yeah.
And Oliver had to break his code for like that brief moment. I love that.
And you see his face, like, oh my god! And you see his face, he regrets it right away.
I mean,
like he had, yeah.
You know, when a show like this shows, you know, a really violent act and it elicits a reaction out of me, then you know it's doing something right.
Yeah.
Okay, but I got off topic there for a little bit. Back to the characters. We were talking about Quentin Lance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did he die in his finale?
No, he's still alive, isn't he? I think.
It was left a cliffhanger, but if he dies, I riot.
Yeah, no shit.
It was weird because I thought, oh, is he having a heart attack? And then a flashback when he was fighting with the Miracle Army guys, and he's got like internal damages.
Yeah, I gotta say, I was a bit disappointed that, you know, he's not, you know, a really renowned fighter, because he gets his ass kicked a lot.
Well, he was fighting with like a freaking super soldier.
Yeah, so. That's true. That is true. But I mean,
he's not a Wildcat.
No, he's not.
Yeah, but I think he was great. The way that they make him into a officer this season, he became a lieutenant.
The way that he gets humbled like that was really cool. Like, you know, he's a detective in the first season, but he gets turned into a regular officer. That was one of the many things I loved about that first episode.
Yeah. I thought he did. I thought he had a great story arc with him, kind of like accepting the arrow a bit. And the scenes when he found out that Sarah came back, I thought that was the best moment of the whole season.
Yeah, that was
one of the best moments.
Yeah, it was powerful. It was really powerful.
And him accepting that, you know, I think I hope in season 3, I hope he comes back. Hope he didn't die. You know, it's revealed that he knows that either Oliver or he finds out that Oliver is the Green Arrow. Because you gotta think, okay, so he put two together that Sarah is with Oliver, and he knows that Sarah is a vigilante with the Arrow. So he puts two together a bit. If you think about it.
Well, Moira knew, and she never said anything.
Yeah, I think it's sort of a Batman Commissioner Gordon type of scenario. I think he secretly knows, but he doesn't want to acknowledge it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you know what my favorite scene of Quentin Lance was this season? Ironically, it was one where he didn't do much. It was the scene where Barry just shows up.
Yeah.
And he explains, like, you know, this is what happened and blah, blah, blah. And Quentin Lance just throws him this look like, what the fuck are you on? Like, what are you?
He's like, what the hell are you?
Because that for me sets him apart from Commissioner Gordon, because even though he does have a Commissioner Gordon Batman type of relationship with Arrow, he is not Commissioner Gordon. He has his own sense of humor. He has his own like nitty gritty, ordinary guy, but ordinary guy with an attitude type of personality, and that's why. And outside of the fact that he loves his daughter so much, he loves his daughter. And that episode where his ex-wife comes back and he's all hopeful that they're going to work things out, and she's like, well, you know, I found somebody else, and you just see like the heartbreak in his face. Oh my God, I love Quentin Lance. Please don't kill him.
I gotta say, I know we stopped talking about Barry, but I really love that scene. His introduction.
It's fun.
He's like, Quinn's like, "Who the hell are you?" And Oliver says, "And does your parents know you're here?"
Yeah, that was great.
Oh my God.
I thought that was very, very meta, because everybody, when they first heard that Grant Gustin was going to be Flash, were like, he's only like 20 something, but he's too young.
Yeah. But anyways, I thought Quinn was great. He, I like why he's like working with it. I kind of like Tyra's like, no, he's a vigilante. We have to take him down. It's like, no, he's not accepting him and worked with the Arrow. And I thought Quentin, the actor who plays Quentin, was fantastic overall.
Yeah, he delivers a knockout performance, especially, you know, meeting up with Sarah. Meeting up with.
His name, yes. What's his name?
She looks it up. Okay. I think it's about
Paul Blackthorne. Like, he sounds like he's supposed to be in Game of Thrones.
Okay. Now we're gonna talk about the new characters, which there are a lot of, and I do mean a lot.
I remember some. All I know was freaking Firefly.
Okay, the one that immediately comes to mind is Brother Blood.
Mm-hmm. That was great.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Although I must admit, I don't like how in the finale they just toss him aside like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's more like, oh, he has a revelation, like, oh, this is all wrong. I did that thing.
Yeah.
Aside, he went through a particular, like, and I really believed in the end that he wasn't that bad of a guy. He just, you know, had bad ways of doing things.
I don't know. I don't know. He seemed like he seemed kind of like a scumbag to me.
Well, Slade, he keeps things, you know, Slade, he does. Slade doesn't.
It's gonna be all about Oliver and Slade.
Yeah. But I thought he's great. When his mask was on, I was like, wait, is that supposed to be Scarecrow?
Yeah, that mask was damn terrifying. It did kind of have a Scarecrow type look to it.
Yeah.
It didn't look exactly like Scarecrow though.
Oh, but that like been like Scarecrow from the Arkham games to me.
Yeah.
Like sides cheek.
Yeah, but it's got, instead of like those big cylinder things that the Scarecrow from the Arkham games has, he's got like those tusks.
Yeah, and touch was a great touch.
Yeah.
And freaking Solomon Grundy, born on a Sunday.
Yeah, they had Solomon Grundy as just the generic run-of-the-mill henchman, which, you know, it's understandable. Okay, talking about someone else.
We talk about Slade yet?
Yeah, let's talk about Slade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah, Slade in this show. My opinion of Slade is that he's a very good villain. He is an absolutely superb villain, but his costume, I have mixed feelings about it.
to Friday the 13th, right?
Yeah, and I get the feeling that the creators of the show were a bit aware of that, because one of the you remember the scene where he's in the warehouse and then you see that guy and that girl. I recognize the girl. She was from the newest Friday the 13th remake. And
Oh, yeah.
and since Slade, his mask was very Jason-esque, and he was just slowly chasing them throughout, I was thinking maybe that was a subtle homage to Friday the 13th.
By the way, that girl and the dude in that episode, where they're in the Central City, that is Killer Frost and Vine. And they're gonna be on the Flash TV series.
Yeah, I had a I think I knew that the girl was going to be Killer Frost.
Yeah. Yeah, he was great though. His I gotta say, I got problem with his motivation of why he wants to destroy Oliver.
Yeah, I do too.
I was like, okay, so listen, he didn't have a choice. Freaking
it wasn't really Oliver's fault that
exactly.
Because Oliver didn't really choose Sarah over Shadow. She was just all he did was that he just it was like a knee-jerk reaction. He just wanted to run in front of do something because it was like seconds before Ivo was about to shoot one of them. It's like he didn't choose. He wasn't fucking choosing anybody. It's like Ivo just shot Shadow because he wanted to keep Sarah alive for some reason I don't quite remember.
Or I don't know. His whole motivation was like, you gotta be like, well, it's a miracle who messed up his mind. So we don't know.
Yeah,
I know Slade. I know a bit about Slade. Is Slade kind of like a super soldier, or he's in the comics?
He's a super soldier, but he's also super smart. Like the whole thing about where he utilizes like over 90% of his brain power and whatnot. I wasn't getting like the whole super smart strategist side of his personality.
I think you got that in the way that he clicked with Oliver, the way he captured Fia. I was gonna call her Mia again. Unbelievable. The way he captured Fia and then told her that she's the daughter of Malcolm Merlyn.
Yeah, and that reminds me, how the hell did he know that?
He got ways. I was a bit. I thought I didn't get that scene. I was like, why did he tell her that?
Because he wanted to destroy Oliver's family.
Yeah. Why could he tell Thea that Oliver is the Arrow?
Because that would make him a martyr.
I don't know. That's the other. But
that wouldn't hurt her. That wouldn't hurt her as much as knowing they.
No, the whole thing is like, she hates when people keep secrets from her and know that Oliver had this big secret that he's a vigilante and, putting himself in danger. That's probably going to really upset her a bit. But,
that's kind of what I mean, is that the show, like, this season, it was extremely well made, but there are a couple of, tiny little problems with the story that I had. Like, Slade's whole motivation for wanting revenge on Oliver was a bit iffy. And I gotta be honest, the whole plot about the Mirakuru was just...
It was very, very comic booky and not in a good way.
Well, I don't mind comic booky, but it's just the whole plot device of a serum that creates super soldiers. It's... goddamn, it's been done to death. Okay?
But pragmatically, they also had to do it because they couldn't find like 5,000 guys to march down Vancouver. They needed a reason why for their own 50 guys, but they can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, I thought that it was it's done before, but I thought the execution was well done.
Yeah, the execution was good, but I'm just saying like the actual like story itself it's not very original. That's all I'm saying.
I just like the super serum thing because it basically turned Roy into an idiot like half the season.
Yeah. But I thought with Slade some point, I thought he was freaking scary.
Yeah, he was definitely, he was scary. There's no doubt about that. He was intimidating.
The episode where, like, Slade was in Oliver's house, and they were showing him around, and you just feel the tension between Oliver and Slade.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Like, even if you don't believe his motivation, because I agree, I don't think that a female character should be fridged just so that you can believe that a guy would turn evil.
Ha!
But
You referenced the Kyle Rayner comic.
of course.
Oh yeah, girl in the fridge.
But and this is more to compliment Manu Bennett as an actor. You could really feel the hate that Slade Wilson has for Oliver. Like, it's not just about killing him, it's about making him suffer. And it goes both ways, because you can really feel that Oliver is scared by this guy. More so than he would be of Malcolm Merlin, for instance. So Manu Bennett and Stephen Amell, I think they had a great rapport. And even I completely agree about, you didn't need to kill Shadow. Like, there must be something else that would. And Malcolm Merlin basically had the same motivation, if you think about it. Like, somebody killed his wife. Oh my God, I have to kill the whole city.
But it's more like he's more like this. Well, you guys see the way she died kind of puts him over the edge.
Yeah, it's the fact.
I never even believed that Slade was that in love with the bitch.
Well, I mean, it's the fact that she was killed when he was, quote unquote, dead. That kind of plays into that a little bit, though.
Yeah. With Malcolm, I mean, it's more like his wife was killed.
Yeah, right in front of his eyes. He was listening to it as it happened.
Yeah, and it was like nobody helps her, and you realize that this thing needs to go down. With Slade, it's more like you didn't save the woman that. Well, he didn't. First of all, I don't think it was. He didn't say to Oliver, "Hey, I have a thing for Shadow. Can you please lay off for her?" It was more like, I always loved Shadow, and I never had a chance to tell her that. And then when he found out that Oliver kind of inspicably caused her death, which he obviously didn't, that kind of put him on the edge. But you kind of think, oh, it's a miracle, and it says to mess up your mind. So, I don't know, they could have done something more why he became this really over the edge evil. But, I don't know, I'm glad they killed him off. Thank goodness. I want to see more Slade. Just for like one half of season 3.
Yeah, Deanna, were you gonna say something? Because I think we kind of overpowered you in the conversation here.
No, I mean, like I said, in my opinion, Malcolm Merlin.
Yeah, I'll agree. It is a bit too reminiscent of Merlin's origin, with his wife.
It's basically, don't get married, because if your wife dies, you're going to become a supervillain.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Star Wars prequels.
Yeah.
But thank God that there's no occurrence in Arrow of anybody talking about sand. Ugh.
It's not.
Okay, next shit. Damn. What else is there? Oh yeah, speaking of Merlin, the whole subplot where Thea is actually his daughter.
That was cool.
I'm not gonna lie. When I first saw that, I thought it was just a very contrived bit of drama, but they took it somewhere, so I'm interested to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I think again that in the Queen family, even somebody like Thea has a bit of a dark side, and I think that's more nurtured than in his nature, because look at her mom, look at her dad, look at her brother. And I like you can blame the DNA for that mess that girl is in.
Yeah, and they did at least sort of build up to it during like the whole arc where Moira was on trial.
Oh no.
I guess you didn't like that story too much.
No. Breaking news. Casey Kasem has passed away.
What?
Casey Kasem has passed away. He probably doesn't know who he is.
Oh, Casey Kasem?
Yeah.
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah. For
The
those
guy,
of you who don't
yeah,
know-
the guy who did the voice of Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. He was also
Yeah.
the top 40 guy.
Yes. Oh yeah, he passed away just today. On Father's Day, all those days.
Oh.
So breaking news. Anyway,
That-
back to Arrow. That's what I say.
We were talking about the whole, like, Thea being Malcolm Merlin's daughter subplot. I think we were transitioning to something else. Okay, other characters. Dr. Ivo.
I don't know.
He has a really long neck.
By the way, there's like a picture of him, like earlier in his life. I guess like in like the early '90s, where it's like he's like half naked in a shower. Look it up.
I know that picture.
Are you
Yeah,
talking?
that's what you do.
Are you talking about the actor who plays Ivo, or are you still on about Casey Kasem?
Oh no, yeah, there's a picture of Casey Kasem half naked. Oh, I'm talking about the actor who played Ivo. Nobody's gonna Google Casey Kasem half naked shower. I mean, yeah, he was alright. He was in the flashback. I don't know, the whole thing, the whole remorse thing in the end, I don't know, I just felt super forced. I don't know how I feel about Amazo being just a boat.
Yeah. I mean, they sucked the sci-fi clean to the bone. Like, no sci-fi, no fan.
Well, they still had the Mirakuru.
Yeah, but could you just make a robot? Like,
Miracle is basically steroids, so it's not like such a big leap.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
true.
I-
I'll agree. Ivo, to me, he was just there.
I don't know about the whole thing with like her and him. I did.
It was nice to have kind of like an evil scientist type character, but other than that,
Yeah, I was kind of. I'm not gonna lie. The thing I was paying more attention to in the flashbacks was like, okay, when are they gonna get to the part where Ollie, gouges out Slade's eye? I was like, all this other crap. I'm just kind of. It kind of teases you with that because, like, in all the present day moments, you see Slade with the eye patch, and I'm like, I really want to see that moment. Did they really need to tease it as much as they did?
It was a good tease.
Yeah, but I mean,
It was, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's like, I mean, we found out, yeah, that Oliver. Well, we kind of assumed that Oliver. We all know that Oliver is the one who gives Slade the one eye.
yeah.
So it was like when it will happen. It was like when he. Yeah, I think yeah. So, but I don't think he was just there. He was like the reason why the Miracle was around.
Yeah, he for some reason he was pursuing the Mirakuru very very diligently.
And then once again, it's for a woman, for his wife.
Yeah, that's a very common theme I'm starting to notice. Okay,
Merlin died or a girl.
okay. One thing one last thing regarding the plot I want to mention is that did you all notice how in the flashbacks to before Oliver and Sarah get on the Queen's Gambit, it's very like picture book esque, like happy go lucky 1950s cliche fun time type feel. Like it's very homey. Everybody's smiling. Quentin Lance is wearing an apron and he's making jokes and shit. Did it just come across to you as kind of corny and how upbeat it was?
No, they try to portray that that Sarah and Laurel and the Lance family had like a good life, and all went to shit. And then kind of like almost reason why Quentin was resistant with the Queen's family season 1 like it's like he blames them for ruining his perfect life because when Sarah died, that caused strains with his marriage with his wife, and it culminated with him becoming his alcoholism, and he blames all that to the Queen's family. So, yeah, it kind of me was like, oh, it's too corny. It's like it shows that they have good life until Sarah.
But they kind of overdid it a little bit because the way it was lit, the way all the colors were, it was like at sunset. Everything was very pretty, very homey, very comfortable looking. It was like a fairy tale or something. It was an obvious contrast to everything that was going on in the present. All the dark, tragic drama stuff that's happening in the present.
It's not as bad as like freaking Seven Heaven.
That is true.
Yeah.
Deanna, do you have anything to comment about regarding that?
I think we're talking too much about this and not enough about Deadshot.
Deadshot?
Deadshot.
Okay.
You didn't like Deadshot this season?
He's kind of like Ivo to me. Like he was kind of there. Like the whole Suicide Squad thing. The only significance I allot towards it is that it was there to develop Diggle more.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah.
I think that Deadshot was the best thing about the Suicide Squad season episode, and I also think that it was great that he showed up in the final episode because they recognized that this character has incredible potential, especially given how he was first introduced. I think he showed up in like the second or the third episode of the first season.
Yeah.
He was just there, and I really like it. But do you want to talk a bit about the Harley Quinn cameo?
Yeah.
People hate it. I liked it. When you see her face,
Well, how about Bronze Tiger?
First Tiger was good.
Yeah,
I feel like the actor.
I kind of feel like they cast Michael J. White as Bronze Tiger, but I kind of feel like he was wasted because all the fight scenes they had with him, they had to.
He was more wasted than Shrapnel, please.
Oh my gosh, Shrapnel and what freaking Dr. Simon Tam. Ah, why they did that to Simon?
Why did they have and they put the Suicide Squad in all the promotional images, like it's finally the Suicide Squad. Look at them, they're gorgeous. And then Shrapnel buys it without doing anything.
Well, he tried to run away.
Well, that qualifies as not
And
doing.
is it in the comics, the Suicide Squad, they had like explosions hidden inside of them that if they try to escape, they will just press a button and kill them?
Yeah, so in other words, he's the only Suicide Squatter that actually committed suicide.
Well, they didn't know. He didn't know that. There's explosion inside of him. So,
Yeah, I was disappointed how Bronze Tiger, all the fight scenes, they were all close up and shaky, and you never actually got to see. You never got to get a sense of Michael J. White's incredible martial arts skills.
he does his own stunts.
Yeah.
And he does his own fights. So I mean, Bronze Tiger was really. I thought he was good. I liked the episode when he was about to steal the Merlin's second earthquake device to this Russian guy, and it was like, oh, I'm going to use it to destroy. He's going to use it to something, and Bronze Tiger was like, okay, whatever. He's like, he doesn't care the casualties, he just want the money. I thought that's a pretty interesting character.
It is.
Yeah. I thought that, he's just like, he just cared for the money. I thought, well, that's pretty much the typical thing to go with this character. He just cared for the big bucks and not like who dies and lives. But, I don't know, but I didn't hate the Suicide Squad episode. I thought it was pretty good.
I didn't hate it. I just thought it was, it was nothing to write home about.
Yeah. I guess the way they hype it, this is going to be the best episode of the season. I was like, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
My problem with the Suicide Squad episode is that they didn't actually do anything because they were going to bomb the shit out of that place anyway.
And they retreated.
They only said
They
that
bugged
they're,
out.
oh look, it's too big. Okay, bomb it.
They bugged out.
Yeah, and like, who honestly believed that they would go in and retrieve like a vial of something? Of course, it was going to be like an installation.
Yeah. And can we talk about Amanda Waller?
Yeah, she was sort of the same old freaking ice queen that, you know, she's always been portrayed as. So, I mean, she wasn't obese or anything. I guess that's something. I think
The good thing about Amanda Waller and the good thing about what's her name, the other daughter of Raj Al Ghul, the show.
Oh yeah, Nissa.
Okay, it's obvious that I love the fact that the people that make Arrow have such a hard-on for Spartacus because I love that show, and it does me so good to see all these actors from Spartacus show up in Arrow because you have Crixus, Navia, I forgot what her name was in Spartacus, but Misa played a character in Spartacus too.
That's great. I don't watch Spartacus, but that's fine.
Speaking of hard-ons, this isn't exactly related, but isn't there a scene in Spartacus where Manu Bennett is nude and you see his
The only scene that... Oh, you mean when he's having sex with Xena? Yeah, I think you do.
Yeah, no. There's like a scene where like they're checking out all the gladiators in the nude.
I'm not gonna Google it. I'm not gonna Google.
I think you see it when he's fucking Xena too. But yeah.
Are you gonna I was just say, what happened?
Nothing. Let's get back on subject.
Deathstroke fucks Xena. Oh my god.
Yeah. Okay. One thing I want to talk about, sort of getting away from the plot, is the cinematography. I know probably neither of you are as keen on like filmmaking as I am, but you could clearly tell that this season looks way different from the last one.
Vancouver never looked so pretty.
Yeah, it's very colorful and very, comic book-y. I think what they did was that they got some different lenses for the cameras, because in the first season there's a lot of blurry action. That's probably because they had some cameras with some crappy depth of field. I think for this one they got like some new lenses for all the cameras, because they use like an Arri Alexa digital film camera. But my point is, like, in the very last episode of the season, it looks like the quality of the cameras that they use really degraded. Like, did any of you notice that too?
I got crappy TV, so I don't know the picture quality of all the episodes this season.
Well,
I got crappy eyesight.
did you notice that? Did you notice that, Deanna?
No, I had, like I said, he has a crappy TV, I have crappy eyesight.
Oh.
It all looks a blur to me.
Yeah.
I guess I'm alone in this observation.
Ian, you're taking like film classes. You can bring in your educated perspective.
Well, like I said, they use the Arri Alexa digital film cameras that's used in virtually all other movies being made now. And you can definitely tell the series has a very strong film look to it. But I was just saying that in the last episode, so far in the season, they had really awesome depth of field. Everything was in focus for the most part. But in the last episode, the action was really blurry. And when people were like zipping across buildings or fighting, there was a lot of blurs. There was a lot of out of focus pictures going on. It's almost like their budget sort of ran a little short, so they had to resort to using some cheaper cameras. that's the way that's what it looked like to me.
Anyways,
But okay, and I must say that the fighting has gotten better, the action has gotten better. They have a lot more special effects. They have a lot more glass breaking, a lot more sparks flying. I'm seeing some Hong Kong movie action movie influences. I'm sorry, were you about to say something?
Yeah, I'm going to go on the record with something controversial. I do not like the fight scene in Arrow. I think they're not believable in the least. The editing does not do them any favors. And I think for me, it's also I see Stephen Amell as much as I compliment him for improving his act. He's such a stiff kind of guy that even though he obviously has to seek for it, I think that to pull off a believable fight scene. Like there were a couple of scenes where he
I
was
agree.
fighting out of and it looked better because I like in that costume. Whatever super costume they ever make in a movie, it will always severely limit an actor in terms of mobility. Like I hope that's not a problem that they will have with the Flash. Although with Flash, there's going to be a lot of special effects that are probably going to help. But no, I do not like the fight scenes in Arrow.
I agree. I feel that
It's maybe Deathstroke versus Green Arrow.
Yeah.
And Marlon Green Arrow. But other than that, even Sarah is a little bit better because the actress is a dancer, and I think you can see that she does have the ability to pull off.
And plus, they knew that it was Black Canary, who's one of the most accomplished fist fighters in the DC universe, so they know they at least had to do her justice.
yeah.
I agree, though.
I think Misa too.
I agree, though, that the editing is way too fast. They don't linger on any shots of the choreography at all. That does get.
And Green Arrow uses that bow too much as a bow staff. Like,
Yeah.
just give him a bow staff or something. That bow is not a bow staff. Like, he keeps hitting people in the face with it, and the sound design is something like whack.
Yeah, whack.
And it's like he's a teacher and smacks them on the ass with the ruler.
I kind of feel like he doesn't quite shoot people with arrows enough. Because I always kind of figured that, like, it's him and, like, Black Canary does all, like, the fist fighting, whereas he's just sitting at a distance shooting people with arrows.
And I think the fact that most of the arrow shooting is actually CGI also kind of
Really?
He never actually fires
Really?
the arrow. Yeah, it's CGI.
Huh.
Just Walking Dead, because in Walking Dead, Norman Reedus said that he never actually fires bolts. It's CGI.
Oh.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's that's a bummer.
That makes sense because I mean in the old days before CGI, whenever somebody fired an arrow, the next cut would be a guy with an arrow in him. You never actually saw the arrow make contact. Like not most of the time anyways.
I'm curious if in Avengers they did the same thing because the bow action with Hawkeye was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I will say though that like whenever people get shot, it's clearly not CGI. They clearly use squibs and stuff like that. Like
Just give him a shot. It's going to be green shotgun. You have failed this city, green shotgun.
We have like 11 minutes left.
Oh.
Conclusion?
Yeah, we can take our time a little bit since it's 11 minutes. There's no need to rush things a lot. So.
How about this? What are you looking forward to season 3?
Yes, I'm looking forward to season 3. I hope they find somebody a better action director.
Mhm.
I hope they get like one of the guys.
Asians.
Yeah, like they need to get some Asians up in this shit. Like they.
Like, I don't want to be racist, but I'm just saying, Asians can direct the shit out of action scenes.
They need to get one of the guys from The Raid.
Yes. That'd be awesome.
Because that movie had some amazing action scenes.
Who's he gonna get directed then?
The guy who directed it was actually a Welsh guy.
Yeah, I know that. I saw the movie. But yeah, I think that chance to do better. There's a good chance, and I hear from the cast sheets, Ted Cobb might make an appearance in season 3.
Who?
I hope. Ted Cobb, Blue Beetle.
Oh, Ted Cord.
Ted Cord, my bad.
Am I supposed to know that guy?
Yes, you do. He's the Blue Beetle. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Ted Korb will make I'm pretty sure Ted Cord will make an appearance in season 3. Because I like Ted Cord. I mean, I like Jaime, but Ted Cord.
Ted Cord.
No, anyway, I got one actor that should play the Blue Beetle, Ted, for season 3. Although he's a bit older, a lot older than Steve Amell. Eddie McClintock. I don't know if you guys who he is. He's in a show that is recently cast on Sci-Fi, Warehouse 13. And he looks great. And I think he should play an excellent Blue Beetle for season 3. Just because he's a really great actor.
I think that Cord would be a great addition to the show.
Oh yes, definitely. Most definitely.
Because we don't really have, outside of Felicity, we don't really have like a tech-oriented person. And Felicity, let's be honest, like in the beginning, she wasn't supposed to be all that. In the beginning, she was, I think, an IT analyst, IT technician. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, and she also conveniently happened to know a shitload about hacking.
Mm-hmm. And criminalistics and all this kind of stuff that a lot. And I understand because that's exactly what happened to Chloe in Smallville, who also started out as just this high school journalist person and then suddenly became a hacker and a genius and whatever. If we bring in somebody who's more like what Barry Allen brought in his cameo, I think that would be great.
Yeah.
My suggestion for season 3, no more Mirakuru. I get that Arrow is like the characters are the main attraction. The plot itself, is just sort of there to drive them. It's a character-driven show. I get that, but a little bit more originality with the main plot devices, wouldn't hurt. But I mean, overall, you gotta take into consideration all the stuff we've been complaining about is relatively minor. I mean, with the exception of Laurel, that is. She will never be a minor complaint.
Let's hope that she's on a good path now, because in the final episodes of the season she was okay. What I want in season 3 is that I want, and this is a general problem that I have with the way that DC is choosing to do live actions of its characters. I want more characters that are just out to get paid. They don't care about sending a message. They don't care about revenge and the grand purpose of it all. I just want some nitty-gritty, Black Mask, the Penguin type characters that are just out to have a good time. They're interested in hookers and drugs. They don't care about
they want to get paid. They want their money.
Yeah, they're more professional bad guys. I don't know how to call them. They're not philosophical, spiritual leaders out to save the city or doom the city or whatever. They're just out to get paid.
Black Mask, I think, would be an awesome addition because I think we've yet to see a good interpretation of Black Mask. Like in everything he's been portrayed as a pansy. I'm looking at you, Batman Arkham Origins.
Oh, for God's sake.
What about Batman Under the Red Hood?
And that too.
What about the Batman?
That too.
Batman?
Because he starts out promisingly as a good villain, but then he kind of turns into a pussy later on. I mean, I don't want to encourage more like Batman characters, but I think Black Mask would be an exception because he's yet to be done justice outside of the DC realm, as it were.
I will say though, speaking of Batman characters, so there's rumors that Nightwing will make an appearance in the show.
Yeah, Nightwing.
I hope it's not the case. As much as a fan of Dick Grayson, I don't want him in the show. He's great, but he's totally a Batman character. Like I'm fine with the teeny cameo.
I think what they're planning to do is that they're planning to maybe take it to Bloodhaven in one episode, and that's where you'll meet Nightwing.
Yeah, but then there's like, okay, then you got to establish that his mentor is Batman. And unless this show is connected to the current DC movies, with Man of Steel and with that Ben Affleck Batman, then I'm not really okay with this.
Well, why not?
No, I don't. Because if this show is connected to the current DC movies, then I'll be fine. But if it's like separated, then I'm like, well, I'd rather that they'll do Nightwing or that they have a reason. So this is a reason of give us something to do with Batman. Because he just pretty much just all these Batman references. I think it's to the point where it's like, okay, that Batman is totally in this universe. I don't know.
But what if, like in the Flash's case, if Nightwing shows up in Arrow and it turns out okay, he gets his own show, would you have a problem that it's not part of the movie universe?
I'm just saying, if Nightwing has nothing to do with Batman, he's just his own character, then no, because Dick Grayson is
okay, look, we got 3 minutes left, so we kind of need to wrap this up.
We'll do a different video about Nightwing and Arrow.
Yeah, you guys can probably do it together. I don't know. This is Father's Day for me. I gotta spend some time with my dad. You know.
Oh.
Yeah. So look, closing thoughts on Arrow Season 2. It was damn good. I said before that this show had potential, and I think for the most part it definitely reached that potential. I mean, the show is insanely popular now. The popularity is well-deserved. It's a well-made, well-acted, and as of now, extremely well-directed show. It's a bit rough around the edges in a few areas, but so far it's solid. It's damn good stuff. If you're watching this, you've not yet seen this show, then I mean, if you like comic books and you like dramatic comic booky type movies and stuff like that, then you're missing out because this show is good stuff. That's all I'll say. Anyone else?
I couldn't believe this show. I can't believe that we all agree with this show. I think remember when we first announced, we was like, really? Green Arrow? We were super hesitant with this show. It was announced, didn't we? I remember you and Victor were totally against this show.
Okay, go on.
Oh, well, I'm just saying that I remember you and about Gory was totally against the show.
Dude, we got like seconds left, so I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
No, we have 15 seconds left.
I cannot wait for the show. That's it. I cannot wait for season 3. There you go. So.
All right, Deanna.
Kisses and hugs.
Yes, kisses and hugs, indeed. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope this review was up to the standards I set by the previous one. That's all she wrote. Goodbye. Have fun. Happy Father's Day.